Greetings, fellow Earthlings, and those visiting from off-planet Elon. Today's top 10 famous folks countdown is 20th century musicians, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Coming in at number 10 is Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury was the lead singer of the legendary rock band Queen. Here are 10 things that you may not know about the iconic frontman. Mercury was born Farrokh Bulsara in Zanzibar, Tanzania, and grew up in India before moving to England. He formed Queen in 1970 with guitarist Brian May and Roger Taylor. Mercury was known for his powerful and emotive voice and was an incredible showman on stage. He was also a talented pianist and wrote many of Queen's biggest hits, including Bohemian Rhapsody, Somebody to Love, and Don't Stop Me Now. Mercury was openly bisexual, and his flamboyant stage presence and costumes often reflected this. He had a close friendship with the band's drummer, Roger Taylor, and the two of them wrote many songs together. Mercury was a fan of opera and often incorporated elements of it into Queen's music. He was also a fan of cats and had a large collection of them. Mercury was diagnosed with AIDS in 1987 and passed away in 1991 at the age of 45. Queen's music continues to be popular and has been featured in numerous films, television, shows, and commercials. Mercury's influence on music and his legacy as an artist is still being felt today, and he is considered one of the greatest singers in the history of rock music. What did I miss about Freddie Mercury? Please leave your comments below. Coming in at number 9, David Gilmour. David Gilmour is best known as the lead guitarist, singer, and one of the main songwriters for the legendary rock band Pink Floyd. Here are 10 things that you may not know about the iconic musician. Gilmour joined Pink Floyd in 1968 as a replacement for Syd Barrett, who left the band due to mental health issues. He was known for his guitar playing, which often featured elaborate solos, and his use of effects such as delays and phasers. Gilmour was also one of the main vocalists in Pink Floyd, singing lead on many of the band's biggest hits, including Wish You Were Here and Comfortably Numb. He was an important figure in the production of Pink Floyd's albums, often co-producing and co-engineering them. David Gilmour is also a philanthropist and actively supported various social and environmental causes, including Amnesty International and Greenpeace. He has released several solo albums throughout his career, including On an Island and Rattle That Lock. Gilmour was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once as a member of Pink Floyd and once as a solo artist. He was known for his live performances, and in 1984, he performed in front of over 300,000 people in London's Hyde Park. He was a collector of vintage and exotic guitars, and his collection features over 130 guitars, including a black Fender Stratocaster, which is considered one of the most iconic guitars in rock history. David Gilmour is considered one of the greatest guitarists of all time, and his influence on rock music and guitar playing continues to inspire generations of museums. Do you know something about David Gilmour I missed? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. And if you think I'm doing a good job, give me a like. Press that thumbs up button. All right, let's move on to number 8, Frank Sinatra. Frank was a solo artist known for his iconic voice and smooth singing style. Here are 10 things you may not know about the chairman of the board. Sinatra began his career as a singer in the 1930s and quickly became one of the most popular and successful singers of his time. He was known for his powerful and emotive voice and was often referred to as the Voice. Sinatra has a successful acting career as well, appearing in over 50 films, including From Here to Eternity and The Man with the Golden Arm. He was also a member of the Rat Pack, a group of entertainers that included Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Peter Lawford. Sinatra was known for his love of women and had several high-profile relationships throughout his life, including marriages to Nancy Barbado, Ava Gardner, and Mia Farrow. Frank Sinatra was a fan of baseball and was often seen at the games of his favorite team, the New York Yankees. He was a passionate supporter of the Democratic Party and had a close relationship with President John F. Kennedy. Sinatra had a difficult relationship with his father, Marty Sinatra, and they were estranged for many years. He won numerous awards throughout his career, including an Academy Award and multiple Grammy Awards. Frank Sinatra's influence on popular music and American culture is still felt today, and he is considered one of the most important figures in the history of music. Tell me what I forgot about Frank Sinatra in the comments below, and consider subscribing to this channel so that you can catch all of our top 10 famous folk countdowns. Coming in at number 7, Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger is best known as the lead singer of the legendary rock band, the Rolling Stones. Here are 10 things that you may not know about the iconic frontman. Jagger was born in Dartford, England, and attended the London School of Economics. He formed the Rolling Stones with Keith Richards in 1962, and the band quickly became one of the most influential and successful bands of all time. Jagger has written or co-written many of the Rolling Stones' biggest hits, including I Can't Get No Satisfaction and Brown Sugar. He is known for his energetic and charismatic stage presence and is considered one of the greatest frontmen in rock history. Jagger has also had a successful acting career, appearing in films such as Performance and The Man from Elysian Fields. He has also been a guest on many TV shows, including Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons. Jagger is a father of 8 children, and he's had several high-profile relationships throughout his career. Mick Jagger has been honored many times with awards and inductions, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the Order of the British Empire for services to music. The Rolling Stones have released over 30 studio albums and have sold over 200 million records worldwide. Jagger has been an inspiration for many musicians. His impact on rock music, pop culture, fashion, literature, and politics has been immense and continues to inspire generations to come. Tell me what I miss about Mick Jagger in the comments below. Give us a like. Coming in at number 6, Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page is best known as the lead guitarist, songwriter, and producer for the iconic rock band Led Zeppelin. Here are 10 things that you may not know about the legendary musician. Jimmy Page began his career as a session musician in London, playing on songs for artists such as The Kinks and The Who. He was a member of the Yardbirds before forming Led Zeppelin in 1968. Page was heavily influenced by American blues music and incorporated it into Led Zeppelin's sound. He was known for his innovative guitar playing and use of unconventional tunings and techniques. Page was also a record producer and played a big role in the production of Led Zeppelin's albums. He was also an avid collector of occult literature and incorporated elements of it into Led Zeppelin's music and imagery. Jimmy Page was a guest on many TV shows, including Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons. Page was involved in several side projects throughout his career, including The Firm and Coverdale Page. He is considered as one of the greatest and influential guitarists in the history of rock music. Jimmy Page has been honored many times with awards and inductions, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and Order of the British Empire for services to music. What did I miss about Jimmy Page? Put it in the comments below. Coming in at number 5, Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was a solo artist and did not have a band. However, he often performed with the Jordanaires, a gospel quartet who provided background vocals for many of his songs. Here are 10 things you may not know about the king of rock and roll. Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and grew up in poverty. He was a huge fan of gospel music, and it greatly influenced his style of singing. Elvis served in the U.S. Army from 1958 to 1960 and was stationed in Germany. He recorded his first hit, Heartbreak Hotel, in 1956, and it topped the Billboard charts for 8 weeks. Presley was a talented actor and appeared in 31 films, the most successful being Jailhouse Rock and King Creole. Elvis was known for his iconic style and fashion, and popularized the Elvis look with his signature hairstyle, sunglasses, and jumpsuits. He was a pioneer in the music industry, blending different genres like rockabilly, country, and rhythm and blues to create his own unique sound. Elvis was a lover of cars and had a large collection of cars, including pink Cadillacs, Mercedes, and Lincolns. Presley was one of the first artists to perform on television and was known for his energetic and charismatic stage presence. Elvis' influence on the music industry and popular culture is still felt today, and he is considered one of the most important figures in the history of rock and roll. What did I miss about Elvis? Slam them in the comments below. Coming in at number 4, John Lennon. John Lennon was a member of the legendary band The Beatles. Here are 10 things you may not know about the iconic musician. Lennon formed the Beatles in 1960 with Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Pete Best. He was a self-taught musician and could play guitar, piano, and harmonica. Lennon wrote many of the Beatles' biggest hits, including Imagine, Strawberry Fields Forever, and A Day in the Life. He was a political activist and was involved in various anti-war and civil rights movements during the 1960s. Lennon was a visual artist as well, and many of his drawings and illustrations were used in the Beatles' album covers and promotional materials. He was a writer, publishing 2 books of poetry and co-authoring the book In His Own Right. Lennon was a strong advocate for peace and nonviolence, and his song Give Peace a Chance became an anthem for the anti-war movement. Lennon married Yoko Ono in 1969, and their relationship was often cited as the reason the Beatles' breakup. He was shot and killed outside of his apartment in New York City in 1980 at the age of 40. Lennon's influence on music, culture, and politics continue to be felt today, and his story, solo music, and songs with the Beatles are considered some of the greatest in the history of popular music. What else do you know about John Lennon? Leave a comment below. Coming in at number 3, Paul McCartney. Like John Lennon, Paul McCartney was a member of the legendary band The Beatles. Here are 10 things you may not know about this iconic musician. McCartney is left-handed, but learned to play guitar right-handed. He wrote the hit song Yesterday in a Dream, and initially thought the melody was a traditional tune. He has written or co-written 32 songs that have reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Paul McCartney was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1997 for his services to music. McCartney has released multiple solo albums and formed the band Wings, which had several hit songs in the 1970s. He has been involved in various environmental and animal rights causes, and even became a vegetarian in the mid-1970s. Paul McCartney wrote the song for the score of the 1984 film Give My Regards to Broad Street. McCartney's song Ebony and Ivory was a hit, and the lyrics talked about racial harmony, which was a big issue during that time. He has been a guest on many TV shows, including Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons. McCartney has a passion for painting and has exhibited his works in galleries around the world. He is also a collector of art, including works by Salvador Dali and Henri Matisse. What else do you know about Paul McCartney? I'm sure there's something you can add to the comments below. Coming in at number 2, Bob Dylan. Here are 10 things you may not know about the legendary Bob Dylan. He actually started out as a traditional folk singer, and it was only later that he embraced rock and roll. Bob Dylan was actually born Robert Allen Zimmerman and changed his name to Bob Dylan as a nod to the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas. He released his first album, Bob Dylan, in 1962 and quickly became a leading figure in the folk music scene. In 1975, he converted to Christianity and released a series of gospel albums. Dylan has released more than 50 albums throughout his career and has sold over 100 million records worldwide. He has also been a successful author, publishing both fiction and non-fiction books. Bob Dylan was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama in 2012. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2016 for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. Dylan's songs "Blowin' in the Wind" was covered by over 100 artists, with versions by Peter, Paul, and Mary being one of the most successful. Bob Dylan has been an inspiration for many musicians. His impact on rock music, pop culture, fashion, literature, and politics has been immense and continues to inspire generations to come. What else do you know about Bob Dylan? Go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And before we get to number 1, let me ask you, did you like the video? Give us a thumbs up. Have you considered subscribing to the channel? And by the way, what do you think of my top 10? Maybe you think other artists should be here. Go ahead and put your suggestion for artists in the comments below. And now on to number 1. The most iconic musician of the 20th century is Michael Jackson. Here are 10 things you may not know about the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. He was a child prodigy, starting his music career at the age of 5 with the Jackson 5. He was a huge fan of the Beatles and even became friends with Paul McCartney. Michael wrote and composed the charity single "We Are the World," which was released in 1985 and helped raise over $63 million for African famine relief. He was a vegetarian and animal rights advocate. Michael had a fear of germs and would often wear surgical masks in public. He was a collector of fine art and had a vast art collection that included works by Salvador Dali and Henri Matisse. He was a huge fan of the films of Stanley Kubrick and was even going to star in a film directed by Kubrick before the director's death. Michael was a huge fan of the films of Walt Disney and was even going to buy the company before his death. He was a pioneer in the music industry for his use of special effects and technology in music videos and live performances. Michael was also a philanthropist. He donated millions of dollars to various charities, organizations throughout his career. So what else do you know about Michael? Put it in the comments below. Consider subscribing because every Tuesday we release a new Top 10 Famous Folks video. Thanks for listening and have a great day.